Today guys, you join me on one of my favourite par 3s in the world. We're here at Wortley Golf Club. We've got 175 yards. But how many times do I see golfers come up short on par 3s? You look at your last 10 rounds, you look at your par 3s, how many doubles have you had? Because a lot of people think par 3s are easy, but a lot of people make hard work of them. Guys, welcome back to Get Good at Golf, and if you want to do just that, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've flown over 50,000, we're now hunting down 100,000, and we'd love you to be a part of it. But here is the biggest thing that we see. When people get onto par 3s, we've got to tee the ball up, because we've always been told we need to tee the ball up on it because it's an advantage. We need to get that little bit in the air, and that's going to help us get it out of the middle, and we're going to hit it further. And how often do I see people, if we're around the golf course playing on other holes, see something just like this? That tee is teed up just like you would potentially have a driver, a mini driver, or even maybe a 3-wood. Extremely high, it's above the club head, or it's right at the top of it. And what does that do? Well, that changes where our strike location is. So we often see that we start to hit it really high on the club face. We're getting it out of this point here, and depending what irons you've got, whether you've got some hollow bodied irons, whether you've got some 301 CBs from Tacoma just like these, we haven't got as much forgiveness. Yes, in a hollow body design you will have a little bit more ball speed from there, but often it launches a little bit higher, potentially doesn't have as much spin, and we often, like most golfers, come up short. It can open the club face, so this is what we see. So from there straight away people come up to this one. Okay, I've got to get it in the air because it's a par 3 and it's a longer iron here. This is my 6 iron. I don't normally like it. I mean, it's gone high. It's like a pitching wedge. I mean, it's over, but I've got 40 yards left into that hole. And again, it's a little bit of one that stings your hands early in the morning, but you will see, if we can see any print on there, that was right up here towards the toe. So like James said, that's opened the face a little bit. It's gone incredibly high. But then we see the people who go, okay, right, I know I don't need to tee it too high, but still, this one is probably above the centre. So straight away there, if you're trying to get this compressed, we're going to have to change a few things. So first of all, you might then start to see people hovering your irons like you would with a driver. But we've really got to change our impact and change our conditions to try and get this club into that position there. And this is what we can't repeat, because if you only play once a week, maybe twice a week, you maybe go down to the range, you haven't got time to be able to be perfect at that. If you can hit 1,000 golf balls a week off a tee that high, you might come onto par 3s and you might be able to do it time and time again. But often you don't. And a driving range is potentially a killer for that. So if you go to a driving range, we all know the pets hate of changing those tees, the big rubber tees. You've got to lift the mat up, you change them. And often the iron one is always a little bit higher than you want it to be. So potentially when you're on the driving range, even when you're practicing, try and hit your irons off the mat. Don't go to the tee for a little bit of ease. Oh, if I get it off there, I can hit it nice and easy, I can get my strike better. Because when you come onto the golf course, it's going to hinder what you can do. And we don't want to make the game harder for you. We want to make it as easy as possible. So what we want to do is get this ball teed down so it's just above the ground. So we're going to have it just above, and we're going to treat it just like a normal shot. By taking it off the ground, we are allowing you to obviously take a little bit of the grass out of there. So especially on a wet morning, an early morning like today, we're taking it away from that grass. We're going to have less moisture between the ball and the club face, which should mean, as long as I've got a dry club face, we should be able to get the ball speed we want. Hopefully we get the strike, but more importantly, we get the distance and we find that elusive green, which is what we all want to do. If we find nearest the pin, sponsored by David Roberts and Partners. Thank you very much, David. Hopefully when we come round here later today, we might have a chance. So we want to make sure that everything else is set up correctly. So just because we're on a par 3 again, we still want that elusive word, that is compression. So I don't want you to start changing your ball position. Just because the ball is on a tee doesn't mean it goes forward. We know, yes, it does with a driver, but when we're using an iron, we're going to set up exactly the same as we would normally. I don't want to see it creep forwards in your stance, because we'll see, okay, it's teed up perfectly, it's forwards in my stance. Oh, again, It's gone incredibly high. It's opened up, it's gone to the right, and it's short. And if James comes in here, we'll see that what happens. So because I've got an iron, you can see that my low point is further back. That was where a driver should be. So I've caught the ground here, and you can see the divot actually works that way. So incredibly off the toe, as we'll see right there. Not too high there, but certainly off the toe, and that's affected my strike because the ball position wasn't correct. So it's getting those basics right, but also just having the tee height correct, because if we want to compress the ball, if we want to get the distance, if we need to tick all those boxes, then we need to make sure we get those things right. So come in and go through your routine again, set your club and build your stance as you normally would, and you'll start to see that's in the centre of my stance or just ahead of it. The club is in the centre, and then from here what I like to always do with an iron is just make sure that it's set ahead of my zipper or just towards my left pocket, but not in my left pocket. Because this is another thing that we see on par threes. After you've teed it up incredibly high, you then move your hands forwards. We can see that face slightly opens, and from there we've got a lot of work to do to try and square that up. Again, we're fighting a lot of things, so I'm going to get that set up correct. My hands slightly forwards, and you can see a penetrating ball flight, a good divot just left of the flag. It's spinning off. Absolutely, that could be nearest the pin later on today. Well, we know what club it is for later. But guys, if you want to make sure that you are hitting better iron shots, compressing your shots into those par threes, scoring better on par threes, lowering your scores, then follow those tips, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon.